Hey everybody. It's Friday, not Thursday. Thank you for being flexible. Been on a 2-week road trip and I'm really happy to be back home, even though it's always wonderful to get away, and had an amazing trip. Lots of outdoor time, although driving through forest fires in California and Oregon was a little sketchy. Best wishes and prayers to everybody out there who's going through scary weather, fires and other things, a lot of stuff going on. Thrilled to be here. Yes, happy Friday from Paddle Club and myself, Kristen Thomas, here for Supconnect. They're still letting me do this and I'm having so much fun. There's still so many people out there I'd love to talk to and interview, so I'm just going to keep going. Today we are going to Cape Cod. I have only been there twice in my life. Amazing destination, we'll talk about that, but also just an amazing person and representative of our sport. It's funny when Supconnect asked me their Sup specialty. I think sharing the love is the specialty of so many people that I get to talk to. She's well known not only in her area but elsewhere. Been at this 12 years, quite a long time. So Michelle Currier, better known as Cape Cod Sup Girl, coach and instructor, also plays lots of other roles in not only the stand-up paddle community. Has a full-time job as a paralegal, wife, mom. I feel like her son just graduated or something. There's Michelle.
Oh, not yet. Hi.
Okay, sorry. Am I rushing things?
Yeah.
I was thinking I saw some landmark, but I guess it was just back to school. It's such strange times, but it's fun to see things starting to look sort of normal, like kids going back to school. Thank you for joining me. Thrilled to see you.
Thank you.
Absolutely. I don't know if you heard the intro, but Cape Cod's such an amazing place. But want to start talking about you, but want to talk about the place too and the location, because I think it's a destination a lot of people would like to go and paddle, and lots of different types of water there. But you've been stand-up paddling a long time.
Yeah, I sat
12
down.
years.
Yeah, I thought about it. I was like, wow, it has been a while, but it's been a journey and I'm enjoying it.
Yeah. So you're one of the early ones. Tell us how'd you get into Sup story? Did you see it somewhere?
So Cape Cod, we didn't have it. We were in Florida on a family trip, and I wanted to go take a lesson. And the person that was giving me a lesson said, well, it's a little rough out there. How about you try surfing? So I never got to my lesson, but I did get to learn how to surf, so that was fun. But I was still determined to paddle. Came home, went online, found a company called Smooth out in California. They sent me the paddle, the board, the fin, and a leash. And I walked down to the beach and said, I'm just doing this. And I self-taught myself. Not sure if the paddle was in the right direction. Not sure if I was doing it correctly. But I look back at the pictures on Facebook for memories. And it was an awesome day. Like I was hooked as soon as I started paddling.
Yeah, that's amazing. And I think it's funny that they said it was too rough for stand-up, so let's surf. Like surfing is for most people a much more challenging activity to learn. But good for you. You got surf and stand-up in the same year. And congratulations. A lot of us who did it way back had to be self-starters to some level. I have a similar story of just going around by myself at first, not quite knowing what to do. But that's also how I jumped into racing, because I thought, oh, there's something going on where I can go see other people doing this and maybe meet some other people. I know amongst all the things you do, you participate in lots of stuff, but you definitely are an athlete and a racer too. Did you start that right away, or was that farther down the line?
I actually started right away. We have the Cape Cod Bay Challenge, and I just went right into it. And of course, their first race was the Supathon, which is out in Wellfleet. And you jump on a board, you go out through the surf, you paddle around, come back in. It's about, I think, 800 yards out and back. And then you run 800 yards on the beach. You do this about 8 times. So
wow,
jumped into it right away. It was a tough day. I did it. I actually had a friend help me out. She did the running part. And met the group that started Cape Cod Bay Challenge. And Kim Riley was there, and she talked to me about racing. She's like, that board you have is not a race board. As soon as we left Wellfleet on the way home, we stopped at Nauset Sports, and that's where I brought my first bark. Um, so that's when it all started.
So was that around, do you remember, 2010 maybe?
So 2000, no, 2012. No, gosh, yeah, 2010. Yes, now I'm thinking about, yeah. It's see, I can't even
Wow.
go far back.
So amazing. Cool. So 2010. That's awesome. Kim Riley, if you're out there, we miss you. Was Jillian Gabri part of it then? Because I know she lived in Cape Cod before coming to
Yes,
California.
she was, yeah.
Yeah.
So I
Well,
met,
they don't mess around because some of those early races in a lot of places, but definitely in Cape Cod, were tough ones, were
yes.
crossings or things like that with running in them too.
Well, Bob reminded me, he said, Bob Babcock, one of the originals of Cape Cod Bay Challenge, reminded me on Facebook the other day. He's like, I remember how nervous you were that first one. And I was, and definitely learned from what you need to do and how you need to train for something like
Yeah.
that.
And not to make you nervous, but we have Chris Burdish listening. Oh my
Oh,
gosh.
wow.
Hi, Chris.
No pressure.
We can't wait to see your movie, and I want to interview you too. So on another date, let's sign you up. Yeah, that's amazing. He even just made a little comment.
Exactly.
Yeah, Jillian, miss her too. So some people have come and gone in our sport, but some of us, like you and I, just still love this so much, and I'm getting so much out of it. I love the way you describe yourself in just so many ways because you are involved in so many things, and you are someone who brings the stoke and the love and shares it with other people in so many different ways. So coaching is one of the big things you do. Let's talk a little bit about that. You're an ACA instructor, which is
Yeah.
one of the thorough 3-day instructor courses. PaddleFit, which is a neat combination kind of coaching and the actual beginning coaching. I've taken that too, just the basic core level. And you're a certified trainer, right?
Yeah.
So you kind of have married those all together. So have you done that? And you have a full-time job and
Yes.
a parent.
I forgot about that.
But have you, do you do that still? Have you done that in like stages along the way when you have time, or have you been consistently coaching training?
It's been this summer, it's been busy and I'm excited about it. I do early morning, either Tuesday mornings, we've been doing paddle lessons. So beginners starting out. And then Thursday mornings, and I'm doing this through Cape Cod Kayak with Kim Fernandez. She's great. She's a one-man show right now because, everybody's understaffed. So she's been actually joining the classes. And we have a group coming out on Thursday mornings that they do the PaddleFit classes. And then I have my clients that I train at the house in the gym. So it's been busy.
You sound very busy. So it sounds like you have seen the same kind of surge that we're seeing all over the place with the love of outdoors and the love of water and people starting stand-up paddleboarding. It's so great that some of them now are finding, because we saw a lot just, going and buying it's a lot of people start where they start and, lots of inflatables, nothing against them, but no lessons, no coaching. So glad to hear that you're busy and people are finding you for different training of different types.
Yeah,
They,
it's good. It's good because a lot of them are like, oh, I didn't know this is what you were supposed to do, or even knowing what, about a leash or PFD or any of that. So I'm glad they're doing it.
yeah. Well, Smooth, where you got your first board, I actually went California to that same warehouse. So it's so funny. We have almost the same story. Rogue and Smooth, they kind of acted like they weren't the same. But anyway, and Rick Carr sold me a board and he gave me a leash also, which I am forever grateful for. And also told me about an event that was happening here 3 weeks later called Hano Hano, which I've been in almost all of those through the years in January. So
I that's very cool to hear that. So.
Yeah. Hey, Surf Expo. I'm not sure who that is, but we've got some interesting people. Maybe I should do this on Fridays. I like it. Thanks for being flexible, everybody. You are an instructor, trainer, mom, and sorry, I was making your son older than he is. He hasn't graduated yet. I have adult children. Hey, Maddie, good to see you too. Then we've talked to Casey, a good friend of yours, someone I totally admire. You have done some work together and you've gone to some of the things that she does. And let's talk about a couple of those separately. So Paddle for Recovery is a really special. Can you explain that? And
Yeah, so Casey started this, I'm going to be off maybe 5 or 6 years ago. She started it because of 3 of her friends had cancer. One actually had it more than 3 times. So her focus was to get the cancer survivor patients out on the water, a day of not thinking about what they've been through, and a caretaker that, either husband, wife, friend, child, gets a lesson for free. We usually take them out at early in the morning, and it's a good group. They come together, they share their stories, they find friendship through it, and then they're out in the water for 2 hours, not thinking about anything else but just paddling. And this year, it's so nice after COVID, because we weren't able to do it last year. We've had a lot of classes this summer, and it's great to see everybody out in the water and enjoying themselves. And it's such a great experience to see them forget about what they've been going through for a couple hours, and the look on their face when they stand up on that board, and everything they've been through kind of goes away for a while. And the fact that they share their stories with us too, knowing what they've been through, and what they're looking at ahead of them. Some still are going through chemo, some are still going, for other reasons. But they came out that day and they just wanted to have fun. And I think it's a great thing Casey started, and I'm honored to be a part of it. So it's been a good summer. So I enjoyed that.
that's really neat.
Class coming up next Sunday. So
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Great. And I know if anybody's interested, they've had them in other places. My friend Maggie Adams
Yes.
down in Carlsbad has held a Paddle for Recovery. So I love kind of that tying it together, again, tying them together, introducing them to a really healthy outdoor activity. I think we've really learned. I mean, I think we're going to come out of this pandemic and being outside and getting your vitamin D and getting exercise and being in fresh air, just a huge part of health. And really specifically this awful thing that we're going through and having a resurgence of. So that I think goes hand in hand, cancer with, and being able to share your story with mental health, which is a big thing. I was excited to talk to you because this is kind of, this weekend I'm doing a bunch of, still doing some virtual things, but cause related. I mean, paddlers have big hearts, don't they? And I think it's just wonderful how many different causes been able to support doing, the activity that we love.
Yes.
What are some other things that happen around Cape Cod that are kind of cause related?
Well, we have the Cape Cod Bay Challenge, which unfortunately I wasn't able to join this year, but I have for the last 6 years. And that's the paddle that we do across. Well, we originally went across the bay, Cape Cod Bay. For other reasons now we go along the coast. But it started out 36 miles now. They've shortened it down to I believe 20 miles. But it's to raise funds for Christopher's Haven. And I've actually visited Christopher's Haven, and it's amazing to see what they do. It's an apartment that's right across the street from Children's Hospital, Mass General, that's in Boston, so that families can be together with their sons and daughters when they're going through a cancer-related illness, and they can do the radiation, go to the hospital, come back, and their family is right there at that apartment. Raise funds for that. It's and then to meet some of them, it's amazing. They've gone through it as well. I know in the beginning, a lot of those paddles, they lived up to the challenges, and you'll be out there, and why am I doing this? And you'll just look down at the board. Most of us would take a picture of one of the kids that we're paddling for, and that just reminds you, like, you're doing this for them. We raise funds. Every year we've raised a lot of funds for them, and through other events that they do, they've raised funds as well. But the paddle was the biggest thing.
Is a big thing, yeah. And raising awareness and helping people connect to good causes and things. I'm sure some of them have become really involved and, maybe volunteer in other ways with the different things. So
the support boats out there. I mean, the captains of the support boats, they're all volunteer. Everybody is on a volunteer basis out there. So they all, they all share their time and they know what they're doing this for a good cause. And, the group that has started the Cape Cod Bay Challenge, I mean, it's an amazing, amazing organization. So I'm proud to be a part of it.
Yeah, super neat. That's
Yeah.
great. Um, and then with Casey, you do some, one of the things that I have not done on a paddleboard, I think you've done with her before, which is paddling and then climbing.
Yes. You have
over
to,
water.
I want you to come out and join it. I think you would absolutely love it. It's, we started in the beginning, it was in Connecticut, and we would paddle about 20 or so miles with gear on our board. So I'm talking tents and everything, whatever could fit on the board.
Self-supporting. I love it.
And then we would set up, once we did the 20 plus miles, we would set up on the island and sleep overnight. And then we would have a guide come out and take us into the middle of the island where we go rock climbing. So we did that for a couple of years in Connecticut. Now we're going to New York. And we stay at Lake George Campground and paddle Lake George. And it's 20 plus miles. And then the next day we rock climb on George, I think I'm getting the name wrong, but we go rock climbing the next day. And
oh, neat.
It's amazing because you're so high up, you're looking down at the lake that you just paddled. So, it's inspirational. And it's an all women's weekend. It's very empowering. She's very supportive. Casey, Casey's the type of person, she'll pick up the phone and you want to go do this? Sure, I'm doing it. So I know it's going to be fun. I know there's going to be an adventure behind it. So the paddle to climb is, it's usually in September, October timeframe. And we've always had good weather and a good time hanging out with new and old friends. So it's a good weekend and we enjoy it.
Okay, paddle to climb. I forgot that it had a name. And
Yeah.
Not really paddling related, but I think she does ice climbing too, doesn't she? Another thing that
As well.
Still have that bucket list.
Yes.
Yeah, so Casey and you, I see your face in a lot of these, have some really great women's retreats, and some of them are to just fun, relaxing destinations. I'm sure you get plenty of paddling in, right?
Yeah.
But have you been on any of her trips going south?
Our first trip together was Hawaii back, I think it's now 5 years. I went on the trip to Hawaii that she had out there, and I'm still friends with a group that I met. That's how you connect out there.
Yeah.
And it was subsurfing, it was paddle boarding, yoga. She put some really amazing trips together, and we end up having lifetime friendships with those groups. So
yeah,
highly recommended.
Well, not to keep talking about Casey, because I just saw her at the Gorge Paddle Challenge, which I don't get to see her out west, so that was really cool. I usually see her at trade shows.
Yes.
And I don't make it to Surf Expo anymore, so it's really it was so great to see her. But you guys are both also play different roles, but with SIC, with the board company, who has really been supportive. We were so happy that SIC picked up the ball with the Gorge Paddle Challenge. They lost kind of their heart, and the whole thing is dedicated to Steve, the owner of Big Ones, who passed away. And it was really a special event, but it was so cool that SIC is still fronting that, and that Casey was there this time. So have you been on an SIC board for a while?
I have. Like I said, I started out with my smooth, went to a bark, and I've been on a lot of different boards, but SIC, it's a board I've connected with. And I know that probably sounds odd to some people when they hear that, but when you find a board that you connect with, and then the company as well, it's just an all around, great feeling. So, it's a good thing to have a board that you can trust when you're out in the water. And I know, like I said, it probably doesn't sound, some people won't understand that, but when you have something under your feet that you're comfortable with, it's stable, and you can hit rough waters and you're going to be fine out there. So I've been on it's over 3 years now. So it's been great.
Wonderful. Yeah. So I'm jumping to equipment, but I do totally relate. I talk to my board. I name my boards. So it is, and we do exciting, but sometimes, that Mother Nature is to be respected. But I know that you have all kinds of weather in Cape Cod and have gone out in all kinds of weather. So again, good to have something under your feet that you feel a bond with and attached to.
Yeah.
I have many friends on SICs who love them. So which one? I'm starting to learn them. I know I was just in the Gorge, and the Bullet is just, the classic board for there. But
Right.
RS is what I hear about the most.
RS.
Is
Yep.
that what you have?
That's what I have, and it's definitely a rocket ship. I mean, you can the way it cuts through the water. I know you're not supposed to be looking down at the nose of your board, but it's cool to watch. So I have the RS, and then I have the Slice for surfing as well. So good board.
Very fun. Yeah. Great board, great company.
Yes.
And I'm really happy they've been able to survive a lot of buyouts and mergers and things.
Yes.
So thank you to BIC and to Tahe Sports above BIC for continuing to support Mark Rappaport and Casey and Jimmy and really important people in the industry who are there at SIC.
Yeah.
A couple people, just breeze up. I'm not sure who you are because I don't memorize everybody's Instagrams. And Morgan McCann, I think I just met both of them and just paddled with them in the Gorge. So so fun to have you on here. Thanks for joining us. We're talking to Michelle Currier, Cape Cod Sup Girl, which is your Instagram handle, and you have a website too.
Yes, I do.
So participant in many a cause. She's an athlete and racer herself. She is a coach and instructor and a mom. How do you do it all? Does that word balance come up in your life a lot?
I try. I think I'm a person, if I'm not doing something, I get bored very quickly. So it's like I gotta keep moving. There are days, when I want to take a little bit of break, but if I'm not on the water, as my husband likes to say, he doesn't like being around me if I don't get up.
That's what I always say too. Please let me go paddle. I'll be a nicer person afterwards. Yes. So true. I think, and we just mentioned mental health. It's so good for our physical and mental health. So let's talk about places you've been. A few have come up, and also places you might want to go. We never get everywhere, huh? Oh, no. Sup Galapagos just joined, who I met. I got to go to the Galapagos Islands and paddle. Nice. There's a great shop there if you guys ever go down there. And seals were chasing me, the babies, the whole time. It was crazy.
Oh, wow.
The nature there is just so amazing.
I'll have to add that one to the list then.
Put that one on too. So talk about some of your favorite races.
I'll have to say my favorite is the Carolina Cup. Even though the first year it really beat me up, I think it was the one that kicked me in the gears to learn how to train a lot better for races, and to really understand the ocean and how it can change out there. But that one, it challenges you, and I love the group. Everybody's there. I mean, you get to see everybody. It's a weekend long racing, and seeing the vendors, seeing all the paddlers, like that is my favorite one of all. It was tough when they had to postpone it, but I'm looking forward to it this November, which is different because it's April. So
I know. I'm hoping it's not too cold. I'm not, because the other what's the name of the other race in Carolina that I've never gotten to? Sometimes it looks so cold that one. Yeah. But I am so with you, and it kind of checks all of those boxes. Amazing race for everyone at any level, because they have the 3, the 6, and the 13. You can choose where you want to go. I've done the Money Island, the 6 a couple times, mostly done the 13. And to your point, boy, does it challenge you and also give you some of everything, because you have flat water and you have wind and you have waves and you have hopefully some downwind, cross chop, lots of people, but it's that people and that whole destination event and, the places, I can't wait to get my tacos at Tower 13 and
Tower 7. We stay.
That was Tower 7. Yeah. See, I got it right.
We stay walking distance, which is kind of not a good thing because I always like to go over there, I guess. But yeah, and then as you're walking around town, it's like you see everybody, or you haven't connected with someone in a long time, you will see them out there, and I think that's great. I mean, we end up seeing each other out there, and we get to see the Gorge last time, so. That's the big part of all of it, though. I mean, as much as I enjoy the racing, it's been great to get back to seeing everybody at these races.
Yeah. I think we're all ready for it, and it's starting to happen, and that's very exciting.
Yes.
So Cape Cod destinations, well, I didn't let you really share other things about where you want to go, but also I want to hear about on Cape Cod, where would you suggest people paddle? Because that's definitely a travel destination just in general,
Yes.
but with lots of water.
With lots of water. There is, there are endless places where you can go paddling, and I'll share where I go, and it's called Monk's Cove. It's right in where the town I live in and born, and you can get there early in the morning, and it's very peaceful. And then it can turn into a windy day out there. But there's so many spots that you can go out to. You end up out in Buzzards Bay. You can end up over to what we call Kingman's Marine area, where there's Bassett Islands. There's plenty of islands to paddle around. There's a lot of exploring. Um, that's my go-to place all the time. So anybody who comes visit me, I automatically take them over there. But that is my place to paddle. If there's plenty of ponds and lakes, but my heart's with the ocean. So I always recommend everyone to head out in the ocean first, try it out. A pond or a lake, you don't get the crazy winds or the currents or the change in scenery out there. So it's the best place to go. I enjoy it.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you sup surf on Cape Cod too, or do you go elsewhere for that?
I go to Rhode Island. Yeah.
Which is, for those who don't live in the West, we're so spread out. It takes 10 hours to get to the middle of California for me. But I assume Rhode Island is only a couple hours.
It's actually like 15 minutes for me.
15 minutes.
Yeah.
I love that.
So I'm actually in the middle, so I can either go down Wellfleet, which is the other end of the Cape, to go surfing, but I choose to go to Rhode Island, and I head down there, meet up people in Rhode Island. We go to First Beach or Second Beach, and those are my two spots where I like to go, and especially it's early in the morning. It's, sometimes when people are out there, it's quiet, and, grab breakfast, go back out, surf again. So
Yeah.
it's a great spot.
Great. And then, so great advice on Cape Cod, if any of you ever make it there. Have you been up to the sea paddle, the one that goes around Manhattan? That one's kind of fascinates me, and I haven't done it.
I've done that a couple of years now. So it is very interesting. The waters are a lot different. You've You're dealing with currents, you're dealing with boats, and we always did the relay. So it would be someone would do 6, then you switch, the next person would do 6. You end up doing 12 miles total. For some reason, I always ended up with the Hudson as my last leg. And
So is that the place where there's a convergence? I always hear there's one place that's especially crazy where kind of the water.
First leg. That's the one where Hell's Gate.
Hell's Gate.
Yes.
Well named, I guess.
Well named. It's where all the waters meet together, and they try to get going before the tides change, because it can get a little hairy. But the Hudson I feel is the most challenging part, because you're dealing with the ferries, and they don't give up. If they're ready to go, they have to stay on schedule. You better get paddling past them quickly. There's a lot of traffic out there, but definitely put that one on your list, because it's fun to do. There's a party afterwards on the boat that pulls everybody together, and plus they're doing it too for there's a charity, there's a cause for that one as well. So it combines the racing and for a good cause as well. And Richard, he does a great job putting that event on. I've done it for, I think it's 5 years now. 1 year we were supposed to go, and we had that storm, so they had to cut it loose. Yeah, so we weren't able to go. But
yeah,
it is different. It is definitely different. You're not open ocean. You're going down a river through the city. So.
But a lot going on.
Yes.
Somebody's commenting that Hell's Gate is famous for shipwrecks.
Okay.
Not surprised, and it might
That's
take you
right,
down
no.
paddling. Yeah, but it's a special one too, because we were just talking about the ones that started really early. I mean, they brought some surfers in and prone paddlers to do it, I think.
Yes.
I forget which year they started, but it's wonderful. We need to especially support those that have kept going, because there haven't been a lot that have been able to keep going. Want to do that. Have you ever been down to Key West for any of those?
That is on my list for this year, to go to the Key West race.
Yeah.
Key Classic race. So I am it's on my list to go out there this year to do that one. So it'll be that one, and then out to Carolina Cup.
Yeah, it's fun when there's a cool destination, especially places you haven't been, for me
Yes.
at least, and the people. So
Right.
while I love a local race that's just in the morning and I can still do other things, I
Right.
really love it when it's a place where everybody's going to be able to hang out and have a beer if that's what you do, and have a gathering or a party or something. Definitely love that aspect of the whole thing. It sounds like you do too. We're
Oh,
very
yes.
similar in that way. So you have been at this a while. Is there anything you would tell yourself, knowing what you know now, 12 years
Mhm.
in, like that right when you started?
So yeah, I thought about this, and I feel like you can start out and not think you have to do all this training, and you can just do these races without any other type of training. I've learned over the years you definitely need the land training, the nutrition, um, rest. Rest is key, and to just breathe and have fun, because as much as we all get anxious before these races, that whole anxiety takes over, and you forget to have fun, and you forget to breathe. Uh, so
Breathe.
yeah. So in the beginning, I know my husband would always try to calm me down before a race and say, "You got this." It was always his words to me, "You got this," and he still does it to this day. But if I know I've done the training, I've put in the water training, the land training, and my nutrition is right on, then I know I'll be fine. But I didn't do that back in the beginning. It was just, okay, I'm doing this race. Here we go. Not knowing how I'd feel afterwards.
Yeah, a lot of trial and error, and
Yes.
glad you survived it, but much better to know. And it's great that people have the opportunity now to know a lot going in and to learn a lot and to find
Yes.
people like you to help them. Johnny O says Michelle and Brett Rock. I miss him. I haven't seen him in years.
He's great. He's great.
Still paddling. And somebody from Tahoe's on too.
Oh,
Tahoe
great.
is another race that's been around for a long time. Actually, there's quite a few races on Tahoe, but the Tahoe Nalu is one that started when the boards were not really sup boards yet. They were surfboards with kind of handmade paddles. So, but kind of fun to go back and to support races like that have kept going.
Definitely want to add to the list.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So places, so think big. Any other places on the list that you and Brett are going to travel to someday and paddle?
Yeah. Well, now so we had a van where we could go, could just jump in and go. Now we have the travel trailer, so you could stay in it a little bit longer. It's a little bit more room. So I've kind of put a list together, and Lake Tahoe is one I really, really would love to see. And I'd love to go back to Hawaii. That's my favorite. Other places, I'm the type of person, as we're traveling and we go to these places, I'll see a body of water and I mentally add that to my list. I'm like, that's a piece of water I want to go paddle right.
There you go. Yep.
So as on our way down, when we drive down to South Carolina, I see places that we could just stop and jump in and go for a paddle. And there's so many places across the country that I would love to just try out. Maybe that would be just our next trip, is just to drive across the United States and stop in each state, find that piece of water and go for a paddle. I think that would be on my bucket list.
Yeah. I know two people who have paddled in all 50 states that they need to start kind of a group and make a sticker or
Yeah.
something. I just think there's fun things like that, again, Facebook isn't everything, but it's easy to make a Facebook group for that. And I think they should have one and then have a little checklist system. So those of us who do try to go lots of places could add that.
That would
One
be
more check mark. Yeah. Do you think you could say you have, we've talked about loving so many aspects of stand-up, but is there a favorite part of SUP for you?
My favorite part is just being out in the water. I think born and raised on Cape Cod, so being around the water, that's my favorite thing. So if it's just a quick little paddle just to get in after a long day of work, or to go for a surf, that's part that makes me happy, is just being out in the water and I'm going to say it again, being one with the board. It's like, it's just you and that board out in that water, and no phones, nothing. Well, I do bring a phone for safety, but I'm not answering any phone calls. The laptop doesn't come with you. It's just you and the board. So I do enjoy that part of it.
Yeah. Somebody was saying you're contradicting yourself to me because I was saying how much I love the piece of it, and then I also love people. But that's how great that we have something like that that brings you such like serenity and can be so chill and relaxing and decompressing, but also can be also the highlight of your social thing for the week, you know, to meet up with people. It can be all those things.
Yes.
And we love that about
I
it.
agree with you. I
Yeah.
definitely agree with you on that. I mean, it's like you were talking about mental health. It's definitely a way, and I think that's why you see a lot more people out in the water kayaking or stand-up paddleboarding, because they can take that time to get away from their everyday. And then a lot of people are enjoying the races because they are seeing that camaraderie between everybody and the support that each other, you know, there are some sports where you don't see that. And this is definitely one of those sports that you do see that. So,
Yeah. Well, you've given us some great tips already, but could you maybe, as a SUP instructor coach, maybe throw out a few more tips for people? Because since there are a lot who've just gotten started in stand-up.
yes, definitely. I mean, the one thing now, and I did it, so I'm at fault for doing it. When you run out and get that board, yeah, go try it out, but get a lesson. Like that is the main thing, is to get a lesson. Demo boards too before you do run out and get that board. Make sure it's the one that fits for you, and then definitely the lesson. And if you're going to get into training for racing, reach out to groups. There's plenty of groups out there with a lot of help. Doing it by yourself is not always an easy thing, because you don't know everything. You don't know what you don't know, basically. So you don't know that, oh, I should have some type of water with me, and maybe there should be something in that water when it gets really hot outside, and electrolytes, like little tips here and there. It's definitely helpful to connect with other groups. So.
Super useful tips. Thank you. And
You-
look who joined us. Casey,
I-
she must have, her ears were burning. We were
Yes.
talking about you and how much we love you.
Yes.
And Neil's on, and CC Sup 21. I feel like I know who that is, and I can't remember who that is. Says hi, Michelle. I always forget if you can read these things that I'm
I
reading.
can. Yep, I see it coming up.
Oh, you see it too.
Yeah.
Great, great, great.
Good.
Well, stand-up paddling in Cape Cod, you're one of the OGs. You got it, you know, again, like many, it is interesting to see where it started, you know, that you saw it in Florida and some people saw it in Hawaii and jumped in. Crazy that you started with a surf lesson instead of
Yes.
a stand-up lesson, because it would be easier.
Right.
But how fantastic and rewarding. And I think you're just an open, friendly person. Anybody who's on and ever is in the area, I'm sure Michelle could help you out. Jason, that's right. Sorry.
Yeah.
I knew I recognized that Instagram account. Some people, again, use their names and some don't, so it's always
Right.
tricky. As a SUP instructor and coach, you have a lot to offer. It sounds like maybe you do that mostly in person. Do you do it virtually too, or?
I was during the tough times when we couldn't open up the doors and say, "Hey, come on over." We were doing Zoom videos, but it's not the same. I definitely like the in person. I like to be there with them, but to keep people going, I was happy to do it. So
Yeah.
But you know, if someone reaches out and we're not in the same location, happy to jump on a Zoom with them.
Yeah.
And, you know, answer questions or any techniques that they have. And you know, sometimes I learn from them as well. They might be doing something that I didn't realize, but we learn from each other. So.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, I'm thrilled for you that you're staying super busy.
Thank you.
Again, leave time for yourself and
Yes.
all that, being having a job and, well, multiple jobs, the day job and the love of SUP job. Thanks for working with all those people and getting them started and sharing the stoke of stand-up paddling. Again, Cape Cod, amazing place where you live, and
You have
amazing
to
waters.
visit. You need to come out and visit.
I would love to come out again. Yes.
Okay. Well, you have a spot here for you.
Thank you so much. Yeah, and have to check off those different states, right? Racing and paddling in different places. Love to get everywhere. Loved catching up with you.
Me too.
Be well. Glad to see that racing is starting again
Me too.
to some extent outside, but also appreciated all the virtual stuff that happens, so to keep us connected and to keep the great causes funded and that type of thing. Cross country paddling is a real thing. It is, Neil.
Yes,
I see you in lots of states too. It's amazing how we, again, there's a body of water. I'm going there.
You go, yeah.
Or you pass it by and you're going to come back another time.
Yeah.
We are addicted to water, and it's a great thing. Thanks so much for taking your time. And everyone, this was live, but if your friends missed it, it immediately goes to IGTV on Supconnect, and then it is on YouTube, Supconnect's channel, and KT Outside also.
Well, thank you, Kristen. I appreciate this.
Yeah, love talking with you. Joseph, thank you. He's saying thank you to both of us.
Thank you.
Appreciate all of you listening. It will be again back on Thursdays at 1:00 Pacific time. I know that it's not perfect for everyone in the world, but again, you can watch the recording if you live somewhere where it's the middle of the night.